Hey guys, Ryan here with another analysis video for the candidates. Before I start off, I'm really sorry about posting the Svidler Kramnik game today. I wanted to do it last night, but for some reason the uploading wouldn't work. And the minutes would just keep increasing and increasing. So I had to cancel it. And it wouldn't work. So luckily after 10 tries it started working, and so I have that out for you guys, so you should look at that. But today's game is going to be between Topalov and Karjakin. I said that I usually wouldn't do draw games because all of the games today were draws, like Ronian Svidler and Mamadeo von Draken and those games. But I thought it actually was a pretty interesting game. The end, it wasn't like some of those boring draws that the GMs get. I thought it was a pretty interesting game, and I want to go over it. So it's Topalov, Karjakin, round 11 of the candidates. Sorry about that. So I'd have 3. Basically introducing an English line, maybe. Knight f6, copycat. C4, so yeah, English or Catalan, those stuff. B6, okay, foreshadowing the bishop on B7. G3, same thing. C5, it's a common move just to kind of have a better control of d4 and play knight c6 later on. Bishop g2, bishop b7. Bishop on b7 is countering bishop on g2 diagonal. Castles g6. Now Karjakin wants to fianchetto both bishops. It's just a normal variation. d4. Okay. Kind of like what you'd get in the Sicilian, except pretty different, but same goal. Capture the center, but lose the center pawn, and get more development. C takes d4, queen takes d4, good move, not letting have trade of bishops. And that was why you play c5, to kind of prevent d4, just saying. Bishop g7, okay, getting a pin basically on the knight. Although you could play knight c6. I expect that would be, I guess that would be countered by maybe queen h4. So threatening to play maybe bishop g7, bishop h6. So I can see why Karjakin didn't want to allow that extra tempo. So play bishop g7. Good move. Knight c3. Good move. d6. Okay. Good move. I don't know why my voice just went up there, but rook f to d1. Okay, getting on the d file. Knight b d7. Good move. So now he wants to redirect his knight to maybe c5 or someplace, because on c6 it didn't have any prospects, although it did kick the queen. So, but because knight c6, kind of provoking queen h4, and he doesn't really want to do that, and he wants his knight to go to good squares anyway. So bishop e3, okay, developing. Rook c8, developing and putting pressure on the c4 pawn. Maybe queen c7 later, trying to make white play b3, which is perfectly fine, but that makes the bishop on g7's diagonal a bit more fatal. So rook a c1, a6, so if queen c7, then Topalov could have played knight b5, so just stopping that. b3, okay, now white has played b3. but now the bishop on g7 diagonal is a bit more fatal, but now that the rook is not on a1 and is on c1, it doesn't really matter. Castle, now threatening to play knight e4 here. So now queen h4, as I was talking about the bishop h6 idea. Okay, rook c7, just planning to play queen a8. It is a pretty interesting idea that you use in the Maroczy if you're black. You play rook c7 and queen a8, and to have an x-ray of the diagonal and then play like rook fc8. You'll get a sense of that in this game. So g4. Now things are starting to get interesting. Basically, black want to go on the attack. And rook to c8. I'm not really sure why that move was played. It seemed like queen a8 just now was better. I'm not sure what Topalov was afraid of. Probably something to do with the b6 pawn, like maybe queen a8, knight a4. That would cause some problems, like queen a8, knight a4 would probably cause some problems. I think it is okay after b5. Maybe c takes b5, rook takes c1, rook takes c1, and a takes b5, and now the a2 pawn is hanging. So the continuation might be knight c3, b4, and knight a4. That might be the continuation. Then maybe bishop c6, but you didn't really want to lose that dark squared bishop. So that might have been a possible continuation. But he did not do that and played rook c8. So just going back. g5, putting pressure. Knight h5. Good move. Knight e8 would kind of be bad. Sorry about that.
Friend arrived.
Sorry. Okay, so now white plays a very interesting move, which is, actually I really like it. It's knight e4. So basically, the point of knight e4 is to try to play knight g3 and annoy this knight. So let's say bishop takes e4. It's bad because of queen e4. And now that black has lost his light squared bishop, bishop d4, knight d4, bishop f3, all these come into play, queen b7, and black's going to have a miserable time in this position. Black played rook c7 again, but a continuation might have been like knight e5. Am I saying it right? I don't think. 95 here.
Check.
Check. Knight takes f6. Bishop takes b7. Rook c7. Pawn takes f6. And rook takes b7. Would be a continuation, which is better for white, but not that by that much. Only probably slightly better, but it is better. Because I think white can win a pawn here. And then bishop takes b6. But anyways, that is a possible line. Made a few bad moves, but it was a possible line, but rook c7 is a bit redundant for Karjakin, but he did play what he played, and now knight g3, knight takes g3, no other option. H takes G3 and Queen A8. So Queen A8 is basically blocking any knight movements for now. Also, it makes it kind of hard for White to try to move his rook to H1, because maybe knight E5, and it's just going to cause some bit of problems there. Or maybe just move a rook to C8 and knight F8. Looks like what he's going to do. So attack on the queen side, maybe. So Topalov gives up and plays knight E1. Knight C5. So bishop trade anytime soon. Bishop trade anytime soon. Queen to H1. Okay, going back. Maybe wanting to trade queens. Rook F8, and as I said earlier, trying to do something on the queen side. And now bishop takes B7, and queen takes B7. And queen takes B7. Now, White would not want to not trade. White wouldn't not want to trade. White would not. White would want to trade queens, because if he doesn't, then his queen, first of all, is going to be inactive. The best place would be on H4. But then, at the least, Black can play queen to E4. Wait, no. Yeah, he can play at least queen E4, and also maybe lines like just trying to make something in the center, maybe here, B5, which is better. And it's just really hard for White to do anything. His queen is not in the game. Yeah. So, it's a trade. Rook takes, of course. Knight takes leads to the bishop. If knight takes, then bishop takes B6, of course. Knight D3 now, trading again, and White's getting a slightly better pawn structure because of the queenside majority. Now that's going to come into factor. So, F6, G takes F6, getting rid of his doubled pawns, which doesn't really matter, but it is. Bishop takes F6, A4, okay. H5, and now B4. So he's really emphasizing that he wants to push his pawns and try to create something. So King F7, King G2, developing the king, King E6, King F3. So Rook F8, threatening to discover check on B2. Maybe even C3. King to E2. King F5. Activating the king again. F3 now. So King F5, F3 now. He's basically trying to stop all play on the king side so he can focus on the queen side, which is a good idea. But Karjakin's not going to allow that. G5, Rook H1, putting pressure on the H pawn. And now Rook H8 is met by Rook takes H5,
Check.
B4 check.
Check.
And then something along the lines of B5 and trying to push his pawns. So Black cannot do that, or else he has no play. So King G6, Rook C2. Good move, planning to bring his rook over. E5 and B5. So now White is trying to assert his pressure and make black do something. So rook a8, which is the best move. Now a5. So White can wait a bit here. Maybe play rook b1, because if you take, now you can take with either the c pawn or the a pawn. The c pawn works here because of rook c6. And now
Check.
I think this position is, I think it's better for White because of all his pressure on the pawns. Yeah, it's equal, but he can wait also with a takes. You get my point, right? So a5, b takes a5, only move, b6, okay? So that was the whole point. Bishop d8, rook b1, protecting, rook b8, good move. Rook a2, attacking a5, and now making black play bishop takes b6 and rook b2. So, gonna think, oh gosh, White is winning. How can the score be the score that it came out? Well, let's see. It's not that easy. Bishop takes e3, rook takes b7, rook takes, and bishop c5. So now, basically, black has a fortress here that White can't really do much to. Rook b8, a4, threatening to push the pawn, king d1, blocking it, h4, trying to push the other pawn, rook g8 check, king f6, and g4, so trying to block it, bishop f2. These are just normal moves, but you already kind of know the position is drawn. So king c2, bishop d4. Now the rook can't get away because of e4. Like, the only move the rook can go is h8, but then e4. And so he can't go there. Well, he can, but it's just going to increase the draw, right?
Check.
It's a dead draw. So king b1, a3, king b2.
Friend arrived.
Bishop b2, protecting the pawn, and now with nothing to do, king b3, bishop c1, king b2. a5, now trying to play for some, but yeah, it's draw by repetition. So there was nothing much that either side could do, because how is black gonna continue when White is just playing king b1, king a2, king b1, king a2? How is White gonna continue if black just moves the bishop back and forth? So because of that, they agreed to draw. And I hope you enjoyed this commentary or analysis on Topalov versus Karjakin candidates round 11 game. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, so sorry for the Fiddler Kramnik game. It was a bit late. But other than that, I will see you next time. And yeah, bye.